everyone, it's Erin from Eat Simple. I just wanted to pull together a really fast video, hopefully it'll be fast, because I'm about to make myself a protein shake. And this is actually something that I don't do very often. But I thought, I'm going to make one and I'm just going to video the process of what I put in a protein shake, because every day, literally every day of my life, somebody says to me, what about my protein shake? What about my smoothie? I like to have that as my breakfast, as my snack, as my on-the-run lunch. And my response to people, whether you're my client or not, is usually somewhere in the vicinity of like, I'm not really into smoothies. I'm just not. I just think they are an opportunity to really get a lot of sugar downrange. Unfortunately, most of the recipes I'm seeing people, because that's what I'll ask, is what are you putting in there? Before I can answer your question as to whether your smoothie's any good, you gotta fill me in on what's going in there. And I'm never usually impressed. We gotta think about smoothies like a meal replacement. So what would you eat? What would you be eating? And your smoothies components and macronutrient ratios, if you will, should sort of shore up to that. But more importantly than like what's in your smoothie, I like to ask the question of, and I'm going to put this out there to you, is why are we having a smoothie? Why? Like, you're having a smoothie every day for your breakfast. Okay, why? Why are you having a smoothie and not food? I'm legitimately asking, what is the reason why you can't whip up a plate of eggs, or maybe you don't have something in the crock pot? Is there some reason why there's just no food? Because I don't usually have food kicking around either, I get it. But I also know that it takes 10 minutes to make food. So that's what I usually do, I usually make food. So when I think about the why I'm making a smoothie today, it's just kind of a couple sets of circumstances that are kind of unfolding today that the smoothie makes sense. I'm about to head out for the day. I'm heading to a session with my personal trainer, and I'm kind of hungry, and I want some food. I want some great nutrition in me, but I don't really want to be full of food. And I do have a long commute because I live out of town, and my gym that I go to is quite far away. So I have a 40-minute commute. I can sip this on the way. It'll get the job done. But I want this smoothie to be a macronutrient equivalent of a breakfast I would normally make. And normally for breakfast, I'm having like 4 eggs, a bunch of sausage or meat of some kind, vegetables sauteed in butter. Like, I'm having a dense breakfast. So my smoothie has to match up to that, because it's got to fill the role of my breakfast. So if that's why you're having a smoothie, if you're like, I have a set of circumstances that the smoothie is warranting, then I'm like, okay, perfect. I just don't want people to be falling back on smoothies as though it's some kind of like great food choice, because it's not. For me, it's an extenuating circumstance. I'll drink my breakfast, but I'd rather people eat breakfast. I also think, the biggest part of my business is about relationship with food. What kind of relationship do you have with a frothy, creamy beverage that you're drinking? It's like a milkshake. Are you really understanding food, or are you just putting a bunch of healthy sounding stuff in a blender? So, that's my sort of intro rant to why I'm not into smoothies. I just think it's not hard to make food. And I'm not a good cook, and I don't have a gourmet kitchen, as you're about to see. I don't enjoy cooking. It's not important to me. I don't like meal prep. I think that I can think of way more interesting things to do with my time than batch cook food. It's just not how I roll. I'm an on-the-run eater too, but I can also make food choices on the run. But today I'm going to drink my food. So I'm just going to turn the video around. I can't turn the video around. Hang on. I'm going to have to physically turn my phone around, I guess. Well, this is my my $1,000 Vitamix blender. So you don't have to have one of those. The reason why I like it is because I get to name drop it, first of all. I can tell people I have a Vitamix, and then I get a lot of street cred for that. People think I'm really interesting and important because I have a very expensive blender. But these things are awesome for blending up ice. And ice is actually one of the things that I put in my smoothies. So I'm going to grab my little blender bucket here. And over here, I've already got this kind of prepped, is all the gear that I will typically put in a smoothie. So you can kind of see what I've got here. This doesn't always all go in my smoothie, but a lot of these things will. So over here I've got, this is a fish oil. I'm not really totally even sure if putting fish oil in a smoothie works, or if that actually denatures or oxidizes the fat, but I put it in there occasionally. I don't know if I'm going to do that today. I've got some nice natural nut butter. This nut butter I bought at the regular grocery store because I don't really shop at fancy grocery stores because I just could not be bothered. Now this is coconut milk. So guys, team, when I tell you to put coconut milk in things, I'm talking about this. I'm not talking about the coconut beverage that Starbucks is using now. You can, for sure, if you're gonna have a latte and you're like, hey, I put that coconut milk in there. I was at Starbucks and I had a latte with coconut milk. I'll be like, okay. It's not really coconut milk. It's kind of the same. I feel the same way about that coconut milk as I feel about almond milk. By the way, almond milk is another question I get asked about daily, and I'm in the process of writing a blog post about it that will go to my email subscribers this week. So just you stay right there on the edge of your seat. Now this right here, coconut water, I don't like drinking coconut water. I don't like the taste of it. I don't like the texture, but your smoothie needs a base. So this is what I put as the base of my smoothie sometimes. If I'm not using coconut water, then I'm just using regular water, just regular filtered water. I'm not using almond milk as my base for a smoothie or any milk. I don't know why a smoothie base has to be so dense. All it has to be is liquid. It has to be liquid to blend the other ingredients, which is the important part. But your base should be as benign as possible. So coconut water is quite, hydrating, healthy, but I'm just as content to put like regular water in, and it doesn't change the flavor at all. Then I have some other, so for me, like a big ingredient in a smoothie is ice. This is a cup of ice. That's what thickens it. You have to have, every smoothie needs a base liquid and some kind of thickening agent to make it sort of a smoothie texture. And that's where the ice comes in. It just creates that texture. So far, if you're paying attention, I've got water and ice in my smoothie. I need some nutrition in there. So that's where I shared some of these other things, the fish oil and the peanut and the nut butter and stuff. But the next step for me is like the food parts. So my food that I'm going to be putting into my smoothie is mango. I've frozen mango chunks. Not a lot of mango because I don't want this to be like a sugar drink. The flavor of mango is quite nice, obviously, and mango is, I'm only going to be putting maybe half a cup or maybe 2/3 of a cup of mango chunks in there. I'm also putting in this kale, which I picked from my garden. And I'm not doing that to be a hippie. I'm just doing it because I do like having green vegetables as much as possible. And if I can blend them into a smoothie, perfect. And by the way, mango and kale go together really well. So that's why I'm having the mango. I honestly don't necessarily need the mango. I do believe that every smoothie should have fat sources in it. So I showed you my fat sources, my nut butter, my coconut milk. I also believe a smoothie should have protein in it because I really believe in fat and protein. So my protein that I'm using today is my good old bone broth protein from Ancient Nutrition. This is awesome because it's non-dairy. It mixes well, it tastes good, and I don't get that protein gut afterwards. And I think if you're a regular user of whey protein, you might know what I'm getting at when I say that. I do have a whey isolate. I have a couple whey isolates in my protein drawer that I use from time to time, but I'm using the bone broth today because it's just so good. It's just such a good product. I also have some hemp hearts. I don't always put hemp hearts in because, again, like hemp hearts is one of those things that people are like, well, I put hemp hearts and chia seeds in my smoothie, and they're waiting for me to congratulate them. And it's like, okay, I mean, a hemp heart, it's decently good source of plant-based protein and omegas, and which is good. I mean, I'm done with that. I like animal proteins a little better, but sure, throw it in there. I don't mind the texture of a hemp heart. That's kind of why I'm putting it in there, if I even do. I don't even know if I'm putting all this stuff in there today. So again, this smoothie I'm going to be making is about meal. It's about a meal. It's about replacing a meal. It's not about supplements. I'm not into supplements. Like, this is not about getting protein so you can get gains. This is about eating, but just drinking instead, because for whatever reason that seems to work for the events of today. Okay, so I get my little bin. I'm going to go with the coconut water today, and I'm going to put let's see if I can find my little measuring lines here. Okay, I'm going to put about 8 ounces. You're not going to be able to see this at all, but just take my word for it. About 8 ounces of coconut water. I could do half and half coconut water, half regular filtered water. The next thing that goes in is my ice cubes. just whatever, however many you want. If your blender's not good, you might want to put the ice in later and just blend the soft ingredients first. Hang on, I gotta use my teeth to get my mango chunks open. Okay, my mango is gonna go in next, and I just want a little bit. I'm not measuring any of this either. I'm just like, let's put some mango in there. I don't know. So I'm gonna put my little mango chunks in. Honestly, like whatever, 7, 8 chunks. I don't need a lot of mango. I don't want this to be a mango beverage. I'll chuck in my kale leaves. I'm actually gonna do a preliminary blend of this because I like my stuff to blend well. So I'm gonna chuck this on the blender, and then I'll put my protein and everything else I might want to put in later. I don't know, you don't have to do it this way if you don't want to. So here we go. I'm going to blend it on the, I don't know, the smoothie setting of my Vitamix. Oh, got to turn that bad boy on first. And maybe I should plug it in. This is the kind of kitchen tips you're going to get from me, people. Plug it in, turn it on, and then go. Ooh, it's power. Okay, so when that happens, that's your smoothie's way of telling you there's not enough liquid in there when it gets chunky like that. So I'm going to chuck in a bit more coconut water, or I could have just gone with good old, well, if you have tap water. I have a nice well, so I could have done tap water or filtered water. Blend it up. Oh, now see? Getting this rolling sort of thing going. That's what you want. Yeah. There we go. Honey. Okay, still a little too chunky. This is exciting. See, every time you add more liquid though, your smoothie gets bigger. So you're gonna run out of room in your cup, just FYI. A little pro tip for you. There we go. Oh, that's beautiful. See that rolling? Yeah. Also, obviously that green color is incredibly impressive. And when I'm sipping that, people are gonna be so impressed by me, oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna chuck in now the most important parts. The important parts are the food parts, the mango and the kale. But the fat and the protein are the parts that are gonna make this a meal that I can rely on for all the stuff I have to do today. So I have like 3 workouts today. Don't even get me started on that. That's not a normal amount of exercise. Do not try that at home. But I have like 3 workouts today. And just a long day. I'm gonna be out and about until like, I don't know, 9 or something today. Okay, check this out, guys. Have a look. Your coconut milk, from the can, it's solid. It's very thick. So I don't know if you can see that. I have to use a spoon to get it out. It's a pretty chunky little guy. And that's just a really high fat, very high fat coconut milk. So let me put a spoonful of that in there. It's some really good camera work going on, I can tell right now. What I really need is a selfie stick or like a camera operator at my house. And while I'm doing this with one hand, I will mention that I work from the home. So maybe you're thinking, well, this is all fine and good, Erin. You work from the home. You can, take your time making smoothies and making videos about them because you have all the time in the world. And it's like, yeah, I get it. We're busy people. You're probably on the run. You're riding the train to work every day. And I wish I could put more in, but I just honestly don't have that kind of coordination while holding the phone. I was going to say that I've worked corporate day jobs for most of my life. And so I get it. Like, I do get it. I understand that it's busy, it's hard. We got lots of stuff going on. Okay. You can still make breakfast. You could still cook breakfast and get to work on time. You really, really can. But if you can't, or you don't want to, you don't have the ingredients at home, then make a smoothie, but make it really good. Okay. My protein powder is going in. Now, this bone broth protein is really nice. It's, like I said, it's my favorite thing. One of my fave proteins. I'm going to put in like a scoop and a bit. Each scoop is 20 grams. So it's not like your crazy high protein amount, but it's good enough. 20 grams of protein is plenty for what I need. I've got lots of good fat in there. I wish I could put more in, but again, I would really need some kind of assistant, and I don't have one. My cat doesn't have opposable thumbs. He's basically useless. So now I'm going to blend it up again, and here we go. Ooh. So good. Oh, my mouth is watering. Okay. Not really. I'm being really facetious about this whole smoothie thing because I may have mentioned I'm not really into them. But this one's going to be good. And by the way, just on the flavor profile front, the kale, the kale mango coconut milk combination, it's pretty much to die for. It's kind of like kale ice cream. So check out my texture. I'm going to pour this in my insulated Starbucks cup here. So it's pretty chunky, pretty thick. And I had used 8 ounces of liquid, and then I added a bunch more. If I had just done this right the first time, this would have fit in this 20-ounce venti cup perfectly, but I have a little bit extra, which is not the end of the world. So there's my smoothie. It's so good. It's super, super good. That's going to tide me over for hours because it's got protein, because it's got fat. It doesn't have a lot of sugar. The only sugar that's in there was those 8 mango chunks or whatever it was that I put in there. That's what you want to build into your smoothie. Low sugar. Drop the sugar down as low as you can. So you can do that by adjusting your base. My base was coconut water. You could use regular water. The base is really where people fall off on smoothies. And a lot of things people do too is they'll chuck in a bunch of yogurt or something, and it's like, I kind of get that. Like that's like a full fat Greek yogurt. Okay, I'd be down with that. I mean, that's a fat source, which I want. But I mean, like the fat that I poured in from my little tin of coconut milk, I use about half this tin. This is a little baby tin. And how much fat is in there? Oh my God, there's like 20 grams of fat. That's amazing. That's awesome. And the flavor of coconut milk is really nice, and it gives a really good texture. And I'm not just loading my smoothie up with like dairy, you know. This is a non-dairy smoothie that I've made because it has bone broth protein in it as well. So I'm really, when people are talking to me about their smoothies, I want to know what they're made of. I want to know why. Why are we doing a smoothie, and what are you putting into it? And what are you hoping to get out of it? Because I'm going to get long-term, sustained, reliable energy from this smoothie. And that's what food's for.